Hey!
Hi!
Woo!
Oh, welcome back to the couch!
Yes!
Yes!
And this time I'm fully transformed. I got my...
I know! The wolf comes out at night.
Ooh!
Ooh!
Yes, I'm so excited. This will be my first video wearing my full suit.
Yes!
If you don't count the fursuit parade videos from TFF that are going to come out probably within the next week. But we just got finished watching the new Invisible Man movie.
Is he listening? Where are you? Where are you? Show yourself! Come on! Do it! There you are.
Oh my god.
And we wanted to talk about it because it was so good.
It is so good.
Yeah, we really liked it. I was already really interested in seeing it because I remember seeing the trailer, and I haven't seen the original Invisible Man, so I don't know how that compares.
I haven't either, so I don't have any basic comparison as always.
But from what I've seen, it doesn't do what this one did. It's not like the same subject matter. It's something different.
Exactly.
And so when I saw this, I'm like, oh, that's a different angle that they're taking, kind of a modern
The spin on it.
Yeah. It's being modern, but not being like, oh, pandering or whatever. Like, oh, let's just pander to what's popular nowadays. Like, no, let's actually use this and kind of tackle
A real serious
a real issue and make some commentary on it, the way good horror movies usually do.
Exactly.
Yeah. So if you haven't seen the trailers, the new Invisible Man is about this woman who goes by. I remember they call her C. Most of the movie.
Her name's like Cecilia. I'm probably butchering that.
But they call her C. For short. And she leaves her abusive boyfriend in the middle of the night. Very rich abusive boyfriend. And then 2 weeks later, she gets the news that he killed himself, supposedly. But then some weird stuff starts happening. You know, stuff starts moving in the house. Oh, that was just the cat.
Cats are causing chaos.
Yep. But yeah, some weird stuff starts moving around. The stuff gets like the heat on the burner turns up and stuff. And,
oh yeah.
And she starts to suspect that her boyfriend is not really dead, but that he's somehow figured out a way to turn himself invisible.
And of course, no one believes her because her life is a Goosebumps episode.
Because that's crazy. Which honestly, that's not too crazy considering I've seen them developing technology that is almost there. They've almost developed perfect cloaking technology.
They really have, though.
So yeah, and if you knew, like, because that's the funny thing is, like, yeah, she kind of explains like that he was
this top optometrist, correct?
Yeah, top what?
He was like a top developing optometrist or something.
No,
like
not
that?
an optometrist. Something. It was something like that. He developed like technology for like Silicon Valley type thing. One of those type of guys. Basically Elon Musk, but even more of a douche somehow. But he and yeah, like she like kind of explains what's involved in it, and like if she had explained that to me, I'd be like, okay, well now that you've explained it, that's not too far-fetched to think that he might have faked his own death and created some kind of weird cloaking suit to hide himself. So it's like, I don't know why like so many people are like, no, that's crazy talk.
Right?
It's like, just listen to her for a second.
Because the way she explains things, she's always super calm and collected, and like, especially in the scene where she finds a bottle of pills that she had lost on the night she escaped, and it just came back in her bathroom. There's like one of the things that made me mad that I didn't mention to you in the theater was like there was like blood on the bottle, and it's like, that's a good DNA test right there. You could see whose blood that is, but I guess while invisibility technology exists in this universe, blood testing doesn't.
I mean, and I sort of let that slide a little because that's technically part of the movie's message, which, you know, the entire movie's about, you know, one, you know, abusive relationships, but also it's the main theme in it is gaslighting.
Exactly.
It shows a lot of gaslighting, which for those of you who don't know what gaslighting is, because I know it gets talked about a lot, but no one really explains what it is. It's basically a form of manipulation where people will say something to make themselves look like the victim, and you look like either the crazy one or the aggressor. Like, say an abusive spouse slaps their partner, and the partner's like, "Oh my god, I can't believe you do that," and then they excuse it by saying, "Why did you make me do that? You know I don't like hitting you." That's gaslighting. That's an extreme form of gaslighting. It varies in terms of like what people will do it with, but that's one of the main forms of gaslighting.
Exactly. An example I read of gaslighting recently that's also extremely abusive was like a man had punched a hole in the wall, and his wife, of course, was super scared. And he was telling his wife, "You better say thank you that I didn't do that to you."
Oh my god. Yep, that's gaslighting. But yeah, that's the whole movie, is that it's basically by the Invisible Man doing what he does, he's basically gaslighting her to make her look like she's absolutely crazy, that she's doing all this stuff herself, that she's like trashing the house herself, that
Exactly.
she's like, there's one scene where she and this friend of hers, his daughter, are talking, and all of a sudden, like, he just like
he slugs her in the face,
punches the friend of hers, and because it's like in such a in the moment type of thing, the friend at first thinks that it was her because she was like moving towards her as it happened, and she thought that she hit her, and I'm like, oh my god.
Right?
Yeah.
Like, I was taken aback
like,
by that. I was like, not only is this man abusive towards a grown-ass woman, he is abusive towards children.
Yeah, that was the other thing. The girl's like a teenager. I don't know. I don't think they said her particular age. But
I would say she's like 16.
She was like in high school. She was in high school, clearly getting ready to like start looking into college.
Yes, she was in that age.
Yeah,
so.
and it's just. Oh my god, the guy in this, the Invisible Man in this, oh my god, he just makes me so mad in so many scenes.
Oh yeah. There's moments where you're just like, God, I can't wait till she proves everyone wrong and they could do something about him.
And I wish I could remember the actress's name who played the main character. I know I've seen her before. For some reason I kept getting her confused with Amanda Seyfried, the one from Mean Girls. They have like similar faces. Like I could honestly see her being like Amanda Seyfried's cousin or something. But
Elizabeth Moss.
Elizabeth Moss. Okay.
What else?
Yeah, one of my coworkers, as we were leaving the theater, I remember she said that apparently she helped co-write the movie so that it could be a more accurate depiction of like abuse from a woman's perspective. Because the main writer's a man. And I'm glad that they did that. I'm glad that they let her chip in and do that because, it offers a more accurate perspective of that sort of abuse victim. And yeah, I'm trying to like, I'm actually like really glad I got to see this movie like now because when I say going through something similar, I mean on like a smaller scale, because there's a dude I like had a falling out with as a friend, and now he's been like cyber stalking me online and just being stupid, messaging me. After he said he's done with me, keep that in mind. I don't know about you, but typically when I say I'm done with someone, I don't check their Twitter. I don't message them anywhere. I don't make sock puppet accounts and message them with passive aggressive stupid little shit posts. But yeah, he keeps messaging me like these gaslighting messages, trying to make me look like I'm the bad one for breaking it off with him, when again, he's the one who said, I'm done with you. It's like, okay, yeah, go ahead. And if you're watching this, right here, right here, if you're watching this, yeah, just so we're clear. But yeah, like when I saw this, I was like, yeah, this is like really cathartic. And even ignoring that as like a recent thing, I technically went through another one where a dude who I again had a falling out with over something really dumb decided to take some screenshot conversations that I had with him remove the context and make it look like I was cyberbullying him.
You can literally take anything out of context and make it sound like absolute shit.
And he basically he shared it among a bunch of my friends a lot of them took it at face value because they're like, oh well, it's screenshots. They can't possibly be taken out of context or whatever.
You can't edit screenshots.
I got really mad at a lot of them for that. They apologized, and I'm friends with like all of them again, except for the one dude who obviously like shared it and everything.
Right.
But yeah, like he makes me look like I'm the crazy, unstable, aggressive one when he's just like, ugh. And that's basically the whole movie, is just, he just tries to make her look crazy. It's like, oh no, he's dead. There's a photo of his dead body and everything, which there's a
very graphic moment.
Yeah, should we go into spoilers or like split up the video?
We can either way. It's your video.
You know what? Last time we split it up, it took me forever to edit the video, spoiler video. I ended up putting that out like a month or two after the movie came out. So I guess we will get into spoilers like right now. So if you're wondering if you should see the movie, go see the movie. If you're like even slightly interested, go see it because it's really good.
I also think it's good, and I'm a baby when it comes to these movies.
Yeah, she was like hiding her face in like certain parts.
Oh my god, I was. It was so bad.
Especially in like the really violent scenes. Oh god.
Which is ironic since I love movies like Deadpool.
Yeah,
and that's way more graphic than what this was.
Oh my god, yeah. Okay, you know what though? Like I'm like. Considering I've seen one of the last movies that I saw was a movie called Man Behind the Sun, which is probably one of the most disturbingly violent and realistically violent movies I've ever seen. This was like a breeze for me. I'm just like, yeah, that's fake. That's fake. Whereas like the like just brief thing, Man Behind the Sun is a historical reenactment of like some atrocities that the Japanese took part in World War II.
Oh my god.
And it's like disturbingly realistic with the practical effects that they use because it was made in the 80s when CGI wasn't a thing.
Right. Oh my god.
So it looks so real. I'm like, oh my god. And I somehow watched the whole thing without vomiting once.
Oh, I'm so proud of you.
Came pretty close, though. Pretty close. But anyway, this video is not about Man Behind the Sun. Go see The Invisible Man.
Yes, go see The Invisible Man.
And if you haven't seen it yet, just be warned, we are going to get into spoilers.
So go watch it before you see the rest of this video.
So I guess biggest spoiler, yeah, he's not dead. He actually is invisible. Who would have thought that?
I know. Well, it's more complicated than that.
Yeah, it is though, because
we can say that, and you already know that when you watch the trailers, but it's way more complicated.
One of the big reveals near the end is like there's a big scene where she gets attacked by him in the mental institution because she ends up. There's one scene where her sister ends up getting her throat slit in the middle of a restaurant while he's there, and he just like quickly like puts the knife in her hand while like no one was looking, and so she looks like she's the one who cut her throat. And I guess they don't have cameras in the restaurant.
I know.
Or something.
Right? Like if they had checked footage, like they could see like that the knife is floating there at some point.
Yeah. But that scene in particular reminded me of the movie Candyman. I don't know if you've seen Candyman.
I haven't.
It's such a good movie. You need to see it. But in Candyman, it's very similar where there's this urban legend named Candyman suddenly starts to fade away because people aren't believing in him anymore thanks to this one woman who like basically debunks the urban legend and exposed it as like, okay, yeah, it was just some dude trying to use the urban legend. He was murdering people,
right?
And yada yada yada. But the urban legend actually did have like a real life counterpart or something, and he was and because no one's believing in him anymore, he wants to use her to make them believe in him again. So he starts doing a lot like what happens here, where like he starts framing her for murders and shit. He like makes her appear in this neighbor's apartment after he's like abducted her baby and murdered her dog, and she thinks that she did it because she's in her apartment. Like, what the heck? And she's covered in blood. And it's like really that scene reminded me of that. I'm like, oh my god. But yeah, there's a scene where after she gets put in the mental institution, she ends up in like this really, really good fight scene where like she ends up like damaging his suit to where it's like sometimes it's like able to be seen and not fully
Yes, it
concealing
basically
him.
glitches in and out, essentially.
Yeah, and he ends up like telling her that he's gonna go like and kill the teenage girl from earlier.
Sydney, yeah.
Yeah. That's the other thing that was like confusing me because the teenage girl's name is Sydney, and then the main character's name was what was it?
Cecilia.
Cecilia. Yeah, that kept confusing me for some reason. I was like, wait, which one's Sydney? Which one's Cecilia again? It's too many C names.
Right.
Yeah, he ends up there, and she gets to him before he can kill her, and she shoots him. But then it gets revealed that the guy underneath the mask was his brother the whole time.
Like,
Or
which is
not,
crazy.
Or not the whole time, but in that particular instance.
In that particular moment,
Because one thing I noticed was and when he was in their house, he was fully invisible. His suit wasn't malfunctioning at all.
Yes, I noticed that. I was like, man, this is some inconsistencies right here.
So I was like, that's exact.
But yeah, that's when you realize, oh, there's got to be more than one person in on this.
Yeah, and he gets found in his brother's like house or something in his basement, tied up, and like he wasn't really dead or something. And it's just like, and she can see right through it. She's like, no, he manipulated his brother into helping him, and he's just faking this again.
Yes.
And I'm just like, yeah, I can kind of see that she's right, because again, like the suit in the house wasn't damaged.
Exactly.
It wasn't blinking. It wasn't wet.
And we saw at the very beginning he had multiple suits. That's something you see immediately. Like something that you just
he had
like,
more than one.
Yeah, and something that you just kind of like, oh, well, that's a weird detail. Like you something that I feel like the audience is supposed to be like, oh, that's weird. You just forget about it, but it's very important. So.
Yeah, that's right. He did have three. We did see.
Four, yeah.
We did see at the beginning he had like three that were like sitting there, like in the distance. We couldn't see them very clearly. But at first, I thought they were just mannequins.
Right.
I mean, they were on mannequins, but yeah. But because like of the way that like he pretty much perfectly like hides himself, his own involvement, just pins it on his brother, which like,
yes.
Holy shit, his brother's a little bitch too.
The brother actually, in my opinion, is the second most complex character besides Cecilia. He's very interesting because when you first meet him, you're like, oh, I fucking hate his guts, and then you have like this moment with him where he's like, I hate my brother too, and you're like, oh, so you can kind of like he's moderately relatable, and then like.
But then he's just doing what his brother wants him to do. Still.
Yes, and you just see he's still a little whip bitch. So
yeah, there's a great line where she says that like, you know what, you're just exactly like him except worse and without a fucking spine.
She specifically says you're the jellyfish version of him.
Yes, you're just the jellyfish. It's like great. Yeah.
Oh my god, yeah. I was like, I gotta dedicate that to memory, and I need to plagiarize that.
Yeah, that's up there with the time I told that dude that he's got a small dick and he's fucking afraid of it.
You gotta give me contacts for that later.
Yes, I will. That was another dude I had a falling out with. I've had falling outs with quite a few people.
I get it.
I make it sound like I had like a lot of falling outs. I have more friends now than I've had fallings out with.
I get that.
I've maybe had fallings out with like maybe 2% of the friends that I've made over the years.
That's not that bad.
But yeah, like the brother's in on it too, and I'm just like, oh my god, this whole family is fucking.
Like when you realize the depth that the brother's in on it, though, like in the third act of the movie, that's when you're just like, oh my god, he's like I got the suspicion at that point, so this was my theory at that moment, that the brother was actually dead, that Adrian was dead, and he was the one that was just behind it all. Just,
at first I thought that too, especially because of the photo, but then they show that Adrian's still alive, and I'm like, wait, what the fuck?
Right.
Oh my god.
Like the movie, like really takes everything you think is gonna happen and just kind of spins it on its head.
Yeah, and it's one other thing I have to give this movie props for: it didn't kill any of the black characters this time.
Oh my god!
None of the black characters died.
I as soon as I saw James, I was thinking to myself,
I was like, oh well, he's dead.
Because it's just such a stereotype.
Like, plus, he's a cop, so
he's
I'm
a
like,
he had a lot of death.
Get killed.
And that's crazy that a character that had so many death flags did not die. Like, I was not expecting the sister to die the way she did. She didn't have any death flags on her, mind you.
The worst that
she did.
The worst that happens to James is he gets beat up like really bad in the climax.
I know. I was so that moment. That's where I was really scared.
Yeah, I thought he was gonna die, but like no, like then as she's shooting the guy, you can see that he's still moving and is just like in pain.
Right.
Yeah, like when she shoots him, I was like, yeah. Just, like,
oh my god, yeah.
And then he's still like going, and he's just holding his chest, but you can tell it's like, yeah, he's bleeding out, he's dead.
Yeah, which was like that's it. What's
so
interesting is that's
satisfying.
the first time you see blood actually go through the suit because
Yeah.
she stabs Adrian in the unit.
But I mean, she stabbed him with a pen, and it wasn't in the neck; it was like kind of in the shoulder area.
Oh yeah, that's true.
And so yeah, like that was. I felt like when she did that, she wasn't doing that to kill him. She was doing that to just maybe either hurt him, but more importantly, damage the suit. Because she knew, like, if I damage the suit, it'll probably start being visible.
Right. Which she was correct in her suspicions.
Which the funny thing though is like the suit when it's not camouflaged, it looks like those weird enemies from Suicide Squad. I don't know if you've seen the first Suicide Squad.
Like the one with Shitty Joker?
Yeah, the one with Shitty Joker.
Okay, yeah, I was concerned they made a second one. Like, I was concerned there for a second.
I sort of considered Birds of Prey like the second Suicide Squad, sort of.
We'll discuss that later.
But there are enemies in that are like they look weird. They're just like weird like people that look like they're covered in coal with like little bubbles.
Right. It reminds me of the Inklings from Bending in the Ink Machine, or like any enemy that's
or putties,
just blobby in
or putties from Power Rangers.
Yes.
Yeah, it's a weird looking suit just because it looks like it's technically got like cameras all over its body so that it can like blend in, and it looks like it's just covered in eyes.
It's very, very strange. It looks like
which is technically what an angel is supposed to look like. An angel is supposed to look like just this weird form covered in eyeballs. That's literally what the Bible says. That's how the Bible describes what one angel is supposed to look like.
It sounds like a creepy elf on a shelf, basically. That's what I'm envisioning. Like, you go up to touch the angel with all these eyes, and they're just like, naughty, Jesus.
Oh, God.
Like,
I wouldn't even want to touch it because I'd be afraid I'd poke one of its eyes out.
What's another? Oh God, we could talk.
Sorry if we're going off tangents.
Angels are humanoid flies, apparently.
Yes, that's apparently what they are, but. Yeah, the suit looks super weird. I remember seeing it. I was like, "Oh God, it's Spider-Man's like black suit from Spider-Man 3."
That's a better example, I feel. The Venom suit. It looks like a defunct version of the Venom suit.
which I mean, Venom did use his suit to like change form into like people to try and fool people. So. Right. kind of similar. Oh man, that was another creepy scene. Was like she decided to try calling his cell phone when she started suspecting that he wasn't dead. Yes. And she started hearing vibrating up in the attic. Like that was super creepy.
That one right there, like that part really got me because you could see evidence of him just, previous small
tiny little things there's one scene I almost missed where she's outside in the cold and you could see her breath and then you could see breath behind her but no one's there and I'm like, oh my God.
Yeah, that's when you first really realize it.
It's like yeah he's there, he is.
He at first, like, his gaslighting when he posed death, it all starts out with
just a suicide note and shit.
Small to moderate things. Like the first one is like when she leaves the kitchen, he turns off the burner and takes the knife. He literally
gaslights her. I wonder if that's what I wonder if that was supposed to be a joke, like where he like turns up the heat on the stove to where it like starts putting the breakfast on fire. I'm like, is that supposed to be like him literally gaslighting her?
Right.
Where he turned the gas up so that the fire gets bigger.
And then the next instance is when she's at is it the bedroom incident or is it the interview incident?
Bedroom.
That one was so creepy.
Yeah, that's the scene that we see in the trailer where like you see the flash going off as he's taking pictures of her sleeping.
Yes.
But in the trailer, it actually they actually removed the scene in the movie that was in the trailer, because in the trailer she wakes up and she sees the phone floating there. Which I'm glad that they took that out, because I would have been like, okay, I would have been like, okay, that's silly, that's a little too obvious.
Right.
But yeah, because she does wake up, but she just like freaks out at first. But it's just one of the girls' fashion mannequins.
Right.
In the dark, and he's not there, or well, he is there, but like you can't see him.
Right.
And then she starts trying to like put the covers back on, and then she sees that something's weighing them down, but she can't see it. But something's like some mass is standing on the sheets, and that was super creepy. Just because she's like pulling on it and it's like she can't get it.
Right. And then then the interview. She tries to do a job interview, and they ask her for some it's some architecture company or something, and they ask her for examples of her work, and she opens her binder and there's literally nothing in there, and she's like, I know I packed these, I know I packed these, and then she starts like looking weird, and she faints while she's there, and they reveal that she had like an excessive level of some prescription drug. I can't remember, diazepam. Yes.
Which was the medication that she had dropped when she was running out of the abusive relationship.
Yes.
At the very beginning, she had dropped that prescription as she was getting into the car. And then after that, when she's back at home in the shower, the bottle appears on the sink in the bathroom. I'm like, oh my god.
I know. God, that scene was really when you knew shit was gonna get real.
Yeah, it's like, you motherfucker.
Exactly.
And it's super satisfying at the end too. Like, oh my god,
I know.
that scene. That scene was wild too, because that first like had me guessing. I was like, wait, is there someone else? And then
that's exactly
no, it's her.
That's exactly what I thought, just because of the way it was edited, like.
Because like, she basically like goes, because she knows that he was the main guy who did it, and he's just trying to like make himself look innocent.
Right.
And she basically tries to give him like a chance to admit this and just own up to your mistakes, own up to what you did, admit it, and she's gonna try and like get him on tape admitting this. Secretly recording him, and he just will not admit it. He just keeps saying, "No, I'm totally innocent.
No, it was my brother."
What are you talking about? And he still keeps gaslighting her. He still keeps saying things like, "You know, I would never do that to you. I know that I didn't give you the best life when you were with me, but I can change. Blah 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 blah." All this stupid bullshit. It's like, no, that's not what we want to hear.
No,
just
because those
fucking own up, you stupid entitled rich asshole. I'm sorry.
It's true though, like, cause he like
and
when you first see her go back,
and you can tell she doesn't want to like escalate it to where she's gonna eventually escalate it in a few minutes, because she starts like sobbing, and she's like, please just admit it. Just, why are you still lying to me? I told you that we need to be honest. And then like when she sees that he won't admit it, she tells him that she has to go to the bathroom real quick. She goes, all of a sudden, like while she's gone, you just see like some invisible force quickly grabs him as he's about to cut his steak and just like slits his throat. And then a few minutes, like a minute or so after that, she comes back and she starts acting like, oh god, 911.
And calls 911, yeah.
Help. And then as soon as like she hangs up, she just gets all emotionless again. You know it's like, oh yeah, it's that suit she hid.
Yes.
She did it. And she totally did it. It was so badass. It's like, yeah.
It really was.
Though the ending, even then, the ending was kind of chilling, just because like, I don't know, the music that they played over it as she was walking away. I'm like, oh god,
that was impressive.
I hope that she's not gonna like turn bad after this.
Yes, that's the sense you get from it, because she walks out of the house and she walks out
and kind of gaslights the cop at the end too.
Yeah.
I noticed. Because he basically puts two and two together, and he's like, you never even wanted to record him, did you? You just wanted to do this. She's like, no, what are you talking about? Of course I did. What did you think that audio sounded like? And he's like, I guess it sounded like he killed himself. And she's like, exactly. And I'm like, you just gaslighted him now.
Right?
Oh my god.
And then at the end, as she walks away, like you can see relief, but it's mixed with some other complicated emotion,
like satisfaction almost.
Yes.
Like it's like she wanted to do that. Which, like, I kind of like, I can't blame her for wanting to, because this guy was like a fucked up piece of shit.
Yeah.
Like he basically, like, oh yeah, that was the other thing. He impregnated her without her knowledge.
Yes.
That was the other thing. There's a scene in the mental hospital where they come back with like blood test results from when she was in the hospital a few days ago, and they're like, did the doctor tell you that the test also revealed that you were pregnant? And she's like, what the fuck?
Yeah, she's just like, no, it can't be me. And they're like, yeah, it looks like it's pretty recent, which...
And I'm just like, recent?
Because if you think about the timeline, all of this is taking 2 weeks after.
Yeah.
So it's possible, but again, she seemed completely unaware. She wasn't like, oh yeah, I guess we had sex.
What I was thinking
recently.
was like, maybe he like while he was invisible, maybe he drugged her, like in some scene we hadn't seen,
right?
And like had sex with her then,
right?
Like, cause like I wouldn't be surprised with what this dude's capable of.
With what this dude is okay with doing, I think.
And he basically wanted to put a baby in her so that she couldn't leave him or something.
Which is...
It's just like, you mother... I hate people like that.
I know, me too.
Yeah, this movie does a good job of like just making you absolutely loathe the villain. Like, oh my god.
It really does.
Like from what I remember in like other Invisible Man movies, the Invisible Man was kind of a sympathetic character, so it's interesting making him like a full-fledged monster in this.
Exactly.
Like in other movies, it was kind of like sad that like people can't see him. Like he wants to like interact with like society, but people can't see him. It's kind of like someone did like a kind of an iteration of the Invisible Man with the SCP Foundation where he wasn't invisible literally, like you could see him. There was just something about him that was literally so unremarkable that everything he did was perceived as just ordinary. Like he could punch you in the face and give you a bloody nose, and you would think you just randomly got a bloody nose. You wouldn't notice that he punched you. And there's like it sounds funny, but there's like a scene where like they, because when you initially listen to like the interview tape of him, because someone made an interview tape, it was really cool, where he's just like kind of answering questions, just all normal and everything. But then after they put it through filters, as they called it, he's like telling them like just how like he's so sick of like this existence that he's like. They say, so how are you doing? He's like, I'm doing fine, I guess. Just fine, like every other time. You're gonna ignore me. I could say anything. I could threaten to rape your wife. I could literally rape your wife, and you wouldn't even notice. And then like the guy doesn't even acknowledge it and everything. He's like, don't you understand? I want to die. I hate this existence. Do you understand what it's like being at a party and everyone just ignoring you? No one even knows that I exist. It's just so sad. I felt so bad for this guy.
It's so comedically tragic in that case.
That was like, I can't remember what number SCP that it is, because they're all technically like numbered. But I think the layman's term for it was Joe Schmo, which I thought was a good name for it. But yeah, it was interesting seeing this iteration of the Invisible Man, where he's not at all a tragic character. He's just this irredeemable piece of shit. Just abusive, miserable piece of shit that like she literally describes him best as like just this sociopath, this narcissistic sociopath. Yeah. But what else? Is there anything else we need to say about the movie?
I was going to say you could talk about like just the metaphorics of it. So what I really like is like the Invisible Man, even though in this movie he was an actual threat, it's such a good interpretation of what it's like to have a ghost when you're finally unchained from your abuse.
Yeah, exactly, because they even kind of hint that before they announce that he killed himself, where she tries to like go check the mail by herself for the first time, and then a jogger is running up the sidewalk behind her, and she freaks out and runs back in because she doesn't realize it's a jogger.
Right. She thinks it's him. So.
Yeah, and I like that too, because yeah, like all people abuse, it's very common for them to just they still feel like they're there, that the person is there controlling them.
Exactly.
And that's why there's always that thing that people tell them, like they can only control you now if you let them. You just need to keep fighting against it and not let them control you anymore because they're not here.
Right.
And even when like they're dead, sometimes it's still like they're there. It's just like I went through. I remember when I told you about that one coworker I had when I worked at the Boys and Girls Club.
Yes.
Where she would always gaslight me. She would gaslight me. She would just critique. She would critique pretty much the way I breathed. Nothing I could do was ever good for her. And yeah, there were like I began like avoiding eye contact with people because of it, because she would always just give me that little fuck you look every time she would look at me. And I was just I only started noticing I was doing that when the supervisor at my internship at the time pointed that out about me, and I had no idea, and I felt so bad, and it took me forever to start looking at people in the eyes again when I was talking to them, because I would always avoid eye contact because I felt like everyone was judging me. Her abuse extended to everyone, because I was always worried, like, oh, are these people really being nice to me, or do they just secretly hate me and they're just not saying it to be polite or something like that, or not saying it not to make themselves look like a total piece of shit,
right,
like she was. But yeah, like it's exactly like that, where even when they're gone, they sometimes still have a hold on you mentally, just because you've been through that for so long, your body kind of tries to adapt to it.
Right.
But is there anything else? I think we covered most of it.
I feel like we have covered most of it. I'm sure. I mean, there's a lot of talking points you could make about this movie, but I feel like we've covered like the big ones at this point.
Yeah, I'm glad we got to make this one, and we weren't constrained by a holiday like we were with Black Christmas. Oh yeah, we never got to talk about Black Christmas because I just didn't have time. But we're gonna talk about it next year, or this year.
We'll talk about it in 2021.
We're gonna talk about it this year for Christmas in 2020. I'm gonna make like a really big video with like a lot of editing and everything, because I want to actually like use footage from the movie and everything, because I want to make like a whole video essay on that one. But yeah, with that one I was like, yeah, I can't get it out in time because I'm constrained by the holiday. But now we have plenty of time to make it. But yeah, with this one, The Invisible Man, go see it.
Yes.
I think this is like its second week out now.
And it's really good. Like, it really is a good movie.
And I'm so glad that Universal was actually able to successfully reboot a monster, an old original Universal monster. I didn't think they were going to be able to do that after the disaster that was The Mummy with Tom Cruise. Oh god, that one just, I was like, oh yeah, it's like, oh yeah, we're going to make our own cinematic universe like Marvel with the Universal monsters, and this one's going to kickstart it. People are going to love it. Yeah, the people said no. No, this is what the first thing you're bringing to the table. Get out of here. Get out of here. Marvel knows what they're doing.
Exactly.
It's like everyone knows only Marvel knows how to make a cinematic universe. Everyone else can't.
It's pretty much
DC
true.
Can't. Universal can't. Nobody can make a freaking cinematic universe. I think Marvel only could because they didn't even realize when they were first making it that it would be a cinematic universe. They're just like, oh yeah, we're just making superhero movies. And it's like, oh, how about we tie them together once they have like 3 superhero movies
right?
out.
They're like, we've already got these 3 out. I guess we could do the Avengers. They're all Avengers, right? They check the math. They're like, yeah, this works. Let's do it. Like,
yeah. But yeah, that was The Invisible Man. Go out and see it. We'll see you in whatever next video will be about. I don't know what movie we'll see next, but bye!
bye!
I didn't realize it would be inappropriate to film a dead body.